Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and this is my show. I'm a Reiki Master Quantum Healing Expert, and we're going to dive deep on how life happens for you and not to you, and how you can heal in an instant. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for checking in on the show. I know it's been a little bit since I've recorded anything. You know, sometimes life happens. And the last recording I placed up, I talked about my brother passing away. I had so many people reach out. Thank you so much. And I had some very, very dear friends that I was able to reach out to and say, hey, I needed help. And they were there for me. So I want to say thank you for that. What a beautiful experience it was. Back to the show. We're doing the season finale right this second. So I've got a ton of questions that have been asked of me. The first one is, have I experienced anything like this before? You know, I don't know anybody that has. That whole experience was so freaking crazy. It was months and months and months of just being tormented and tortured. And the reality is, we're only halfway through the show. So I gotta say no. I sure as heck haven't had that before, and I don't know anybody that has. The next question is, did I ever leave my body during boot camp? Meaning, was I able to leave my body because the pain was so great? And the answer is yes. You know, they taught us that. They taught us to leave our body when things were too much, because they knew at some point that was going to happen for us. You know, in combat, we don't get to say, hey, here's my red tag. I get to check out and I get to feel better about myself. The reality is you're there, you have a job to do, and that job is to come home to your family and do the task at hand. So, you know, absolutely 100%, that definitely happened. In episode 1 through 8, Mark asks, what was the time frame in that? You know, how long did that happen? The honest answer is that was the year before COVID. So I think that was 2019. So I think we've really covered from probably February to July, somewhere in there, February to July, because we got through that July 4th weekend where the house got more powerful. It was able to leave the property and follow me. So we got up through July during that time frame. And here's a really good question right here. If somebody's going through something like that, who do they call? You know who you call me. You reach out to me, and if I can't help, I've got people that can. And what we're not going to do is we're not going to walk away. We're not going to forget about you. We're not going to leave you there in the dust. And the honest answer is you do have a support system. Because somebody taught me a long time ago, we take turns saving each other. So we're going to be there for you, and don't you worry. You reach out through my Instagram page, or you go to vbhealer.com, and we're going to take good care of you. Question number 5. Do I still have hyper-awareness abilities? You know, man, that's a hard one. You know, going through that spiritual awakening, through that time period, everything was so open. You know, I could touch a bowl and tell you what fruit was in it. It was extraordinary. It's something that I don't ever want to go through again. It was too much. Does that make sense? It was on a scale from 1 to 10, I was at 100, and it was absolutely positively terrifying and miserable. So, do I have those abilities sometime? Absolutely. I definitely do, but it's not there 24/7. Thank goodness. Because one of the things I want you to think about is if you have these gifts, you know, you can ask God, you can tell God, say, hey, this is how I need to be able to interact. And when somebody told me that, I told Jesus, I said, hey, look, I want to be able to live as best a normal life as I can. And when I'm working with a client, my gifts will turn on, and they turn on when I start talking to that person and asking them questions, and then I start to see things. That's how my gifts work. Everybody's unique. However, you are in dominion over that. So don't you forget about that. You're 100% in dominion. When can I start sharing pics online? You know, I've had some people ask me about the pictures, and when I told them about it, they said, don't send it to me. I don't want to see it. So it's that double-edged sword. So I'll tell you what, I'm not going to put any pictures up of any demons or anything like that, but if you would like to see it, if you want me to send that to you, you reach out through Instagram at VB Healer, and I'll share that. I'm not going to put that up there. I will, however, start putting pictures of the house up this week on Instagram through VB Healer. And if you would like to correspond with me, reach out. We'll have a conversation, and I'll make sure that you know exactly what you're going to be receiving, and we'll send you what you're asking for. Number 7, how do I know when a spirit is near me or attached to me? Well, when a spirit is attached to you, they're going to aggravate you. So I know in the past when I've had something attached to me, I'll have this underlying anger that isn't normally who I am. Or something will just feel off. So that is typically when you have a spiritual attachment. My experience, you'll have pain in the back of your neck or down your spine. And when they do attach to you, they irritate you. If they can irritate you, for example, if your shoulder is weak and you have a spiritual attachment, all of a sudden your shoulder will be in severe pain. Number 8, why did the blue light come on in the kitchen? You know, I have absolutely no idea. There was no blue light bulb. There was no logical reason, no explanation whatsoever on why there was a blue light there. But whenever it was blue, it was bad. There was something really bad getting ready to happen, or some version of that. So maybe it was my mom. Maybe it was mom somehow making the light blue, giving me some kind of signal. I have no idea, and I don't think we're ever going to know what that looks like. Number 9, what did the demon look like that was in my bedroom? Well, I said earlier in the show that my bedroom was safe for me, right? So when I got out to the camper and I turned around, I thought that was a safe area, and I guess maybe it was when I was in the room. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't perfect, but it was a hell of a lot better than being in the hallway. I can fucking tell you that. You look at the doorway and you would see this black blob dipping down from the top of the doorway and things looking in and stuff like that. Boy, that's nerve-wracking. That's going to wake you up, I promise you. So this thing, you could see its eyes. You could see it clearly. It was about 7 foot tall. It was like a red color, had horns, and its eyes pierced through me. It had this anger and hatred for me that was quite intimidating. I would not want to have to go up against that. And at that moment, I flicked it off and I'm like, fuck you, motherfucker. And the reality, I was scared. I was terrified. I could not believe that this thing was standing just where I was 60 seconds probably before. And I wasn't going back in the house. That light could stay on for fucking eternity. I can promise you that. But yeah, that was kind of nerve-wracking. So good question. Number next, can anybody else see them? The healers that showed up to the house could definitely see them. Ty did not. I don't think Ty ever seen anything like that, even though he experienced 95% of everything. And my friend Greta, which I don't believe we've talked about in the show yet. We will talk about in season 2. She would come over a lot. And I don't know if she ever seen it. She was always trying to get me to see the bright side. Oh, well, your eyes will play tricks on you. And I don't know when it was she stopped doing that and realized it was real, but at some point she realized it was real. And, I think that was life altering for her as well. Number 10, or whatever number we're on now. How does energy work help with people with severe disabilities? I don't know. I worked on a young boy that was highly autistic, and as I was working on him, his head was going back and forth. There's a term for that. I don't remember the name of the term, so I'm trying not to disrespect him. He was a beautiful, beautiful young man. But when I touched him, he would stop spinning his head and looking around, and he would look me in the eye. There was this moment of clarity. It was interesting to experience. I mean, he made eye contact with me. He knew I was there, and then it was gone. And his mom only brought him one time. I had even offered to work on him continuously for free. There would be no charge for her. She would just have to bring him, and for whatever reason, they did not come back. However, she had sent me some clients afterwards. She did say how much she appreciated it, but I don't know why they didn't come back. So I don't know what that looks like. I did have a client that went to Sandra Grace when I was brand new in healing work. Sandra Grace called in some angels, which is one of the things that I can do, and the angels removed lupus from her. And she has been lupus free for years at this point. I had a client which was her niece, maybe 8 months after that. Long story short, the mother was in the hospital, she was pregnant, the baby wasn't supposed to survive, the mother might not survive, there was water on the heart, and they asked if I could do any work. So I'm like, sure. I will connect and see what I can do. And I did this work long distance. I think they were in Georgia or something. And when I connected with the mother, I could instantly talk to the child, which is normal. That's one of the things I can do. I don't understand why. I just have that ability. So there's a fluid conversation. And the first question was, if I'm born, she wanted to know if her mother would die. Because the doctor's telling her, you're going to die if you give birth to this child. And she had been in the hospital taking this medication for 3 weeks, and they were hoping the medication would remove the water from the heart. The water from the heart were the tears of the child, and the child did not want to be born because she didn't want to kill her mother. So when I told her she would be fine, I did healing work on the child, I did healing work on the mother, and we removed the water from around the mother's heart. And you got to remember, this isn't me doing the work. This is me connecting with the Holy Sacred Spirit, flowing through me to do this work. Jesus does this work. I'm just the tool. But afterwards, the next morning, the doctor comes in. There's been a miracle. The medicine started working after 3.5 weeks. Well, the medicine didn't fucking working. Jesus came in and did a healing. The baby understood that mom's not going to die. The child was born. They both are healthy. Mother had surgery afterwards. They're doing wonderful. I think the little girl's 3 or 4. She's adorable. So I've seen so many miracles from this work. If you want to go to Integrated Healing Systems, Google that and look at the reviews that I have. I'm not bragging about my reviews, but what I want you to do is go there and look and see what people said about the healing that happened, because they don't tell me that. I only know after I get a review. So there's so many beautiful stories there. Go there and that will answer, I think, your question at a deeper level. So thank you for that one. That was a good question. Next question. Have I seen the plasma bursts before? I see them all the time. When an angel comes in the room, I will see that little spark of light. It's really cool to see. Our human mind tries to convince us, oh, it's something with my eyes, it's this or it's that. The reality is an angel just came in the room. Next question. This is my favorite question. And by the way, I've recorded 7 times to get to this point, so I'm really hoping that this saves this time. The next question is, how powerful are the words that we speak? Mark asked this question. Well, Mark, you also asked if our words are magic. I don't know if they're magic, but they're magical. If you look at your life right now, you've manifested that with the words that you say, the thoughts that you have, the feelings and emotions that you carry with it, and the actions that you deliver. So you've manifested that life. So if it is a shit show, guess what? Those are the words that you're saying. If it's beautiful, easy flowing, and elegant, those are the words that you're saying. My favorite affirmations are I am gifted, I am loved, I am beautiful. Every step I take raises my vibration. Every breath I take heals my body. What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying about your relationship? What are you saying about your income? About your health? What are you saying about your children? What are you saying to yourself about the things that you want in your life? Are you negative? Are you choosing past trauma? Is the person of your dreams standing in front of you and you choose not to step forward? Is the job of your dreams in front of you and you choose not to accept it? Because you're choosing that by the words that you say. You can say, hey, I want this. But if the words that you say are, that guy's never going to love me, or she's never going to want to marry me, I'm never going to get that job. You're right. Henry Ford says, whether you believe you're right or you're wrong, you're correct. So what words are you saying to yourself? Because at the end of the day, that dictates your life. I never understood that. I always thought that was bullshit. And the reality is, if you want to shut down what you've got going, go ahead and say things that are not abundant, that are not appropriate, that are against what you're trying to do. See, if your words, your thoughts, your heart, your actions, and your movement are not in alignment, you will not receive. This is why you don't have the abundance or the things that you want in your life, because there's things that need to be healed. We can heal like that. We can heal fast if you look at what you bring to the table, if you look at who you are, and if you look at life differently. And that's what we talk about in this show. Next question. Do I do mediumship? I can do that kind of work. It's not something I study. It's not something I promote. I've got some friends that are excellent mediums. The messages that they get are spot on. They can turn it on. They can turn it off. And so I hope that answers your question. It's definitely in my backpack. It's just not my number one go-to, if that makes sense. Also, I'm asked, what should I avoid? I avoid stepping in shit. Let's just put it that way. I don't go to places I'm not supposed to go. I don't hang around people that I shouldn't hang around. Meaning, if they're doing some activities that are not high vibration, meaning they're going out getting drunk at a bar, they're doing drugs, they're hanging out with people that are doing drugs, they're going to a pool hall that is a little seedy, I'm not going to it. Back in the day, going to those places and playing pool, that was fun for me, but I'm not in the Marine Corps anymore and I don't do those things. See, those choices raise or lower your vibration. I used to lower my vibration to spend time with people because I wanted a friend. And at the end of the day, that person wasn't my friend. I used to lower my vibration to have a girlfriend or to have a date or to do something because I didn't have an abundance of people to hang out with. I see it all the time. I see people hanging out with people that are lower vibration than them. It doesn't mean they are a bad person. It's just not your people. So when you're done hanging out with somebody, if you don't walk down the street with a smile on your face, feel uplifted, and have your cup full, then you're in the wrong place. When my buddy Ty comes in town, I feel complete. I feel loved. I feel respected. He brings something to the table for me. The people that I know that have a lower vibration, I'm still friendly to them. I just don't hang out with them. These are choices that we have to make. What choices are you making? What choices are you making in your relationship? When you're with somebody that continuously doesn't choose you and they show you who they are, maybe you start to believe them. Because it's easy to try to think, well, this person should be this or it should be that. Maybe that's not what they meant. But the reality is, if they say it once, it might be, they just do an activity one time is one thing. But when they do it consistently over and over, that's who they are. If they're not apologizing for things that they've done to hurt your feelings, they don't fucking care about you. If you go to work and the boss treats you like trash every single time, they don't care about you. If you treat yourself like trash over and over and over, you don't care about you. It starts with you. If you start treating yourself with respect, you're going to teach others to respect you. If you show up and set appropriate boundaries at work, at home, in relationships with friends, and you choose to go a different direction, if they can't follow that boundary, then you're the problem. But when the boundary's set and you make a decision that chooses you, life changes. That's what we're talking about. Changing your vibration, changing your life, telling the universe and people how to treat you, and making sure that you remember how to treat yourself. That's number one. Your word goes side by side with that decision. Next question. We've got some really great questions. And I wish I had about 3 hours to do them all, but these are the ones that I've selected. So, how do you connect with your spirit guides? That is a big question. My personal opinion is, if I were you, find a Reiki healing center or a Reiki person and get your Reiki 1 certification. It's about self-healing. It connects you to the Holy Sacred Spirit so that flows through your crown chakra to heal you and heal somebody in front of you if you're working on somebody. Do meditation. Find a group of people that talk about getting better, being better, and start showing up in that community. That's how you're going to make that connection. The answer is always within yourself. My good friend Trinae says when you choose yourself, you are always making the right choice. That when you choose yourself, it's best for all involved. Meaning, when I make decisions that's best for me, and I say, you know what? I can't be in this relationship with you anymore. I can't be in this position anymore. I'm not allowing somebody to treat me that way, or I'm not allowing myself to treat me that way. That decision is best for everybody involved, even if it hurts the other person. I'm not saying you go out and disrespect them, but when you make a choice that works for you and that person leaves your life, that person leaves the relationship because you made a choice to take yourself to a higher level, that person may be in pain. However, they are an adult and they need to do the self-healing so they can heal their side of the fence. Does that make sense? All right, so that's it. End of season 1. Man, I tell you what, it has been a crazy ride. I want to say thank you for participating. We just picked up Poland, so we're in 10 different countries right now. We've got lots to cover in season 2. I will see you soon. And remember, there's a version of you that we haven't met yet, and together we're going to find that person. Have a great night. I'll see you soon.